Welcome to MMA on the Rocks. My name is Bill Welker. You are listening to episode 282 of the podcast. Or you're joining us live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Today's Sunday, April 10th. We're one day removed from UFC 273, Jacksonville, Florida. Alexander Volkanovski defending his featherweight championship against the Korean zombie Chan Sung Jung. Before we get into any of that, I got some upkeep matters to discuss with you all. And before we get into that, even, let me introduce all the way from New Jersey, the Garden State, Jeff, the Animal Wilson. Jeff, how you feeling on this Sunday evening, my friend?
Bill, it's still cold. It's April. Why is it still cold?
It was actually chilly here this weekend. We had like a big rain on Friday, and then it was kind of cold throughout the weekend.
Bill, that sounds absolutely horrifying. Just because I know hurricane season is approaching. But Bill, I know you had some fun times this weekend. So Bill, I need a damage report.
I think I got away fairly unscathed this weekend. So we did another weekend away in Orlando, Disney World. I'm sure you guys are probably thinking like, oh man, he went to Disney World again. Yes, I did. This was the thing. It was my mother-in-law's birthday, and we asked her, what do you want to do for your birthday? And she said, I want to go stay at a nice Disney hotel. Now, for those who don't know, there are a couple of hotels around the Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is basically an island. So you go and park your car, and then you have to take either a boat or a monorail to get to it. On the monorail line are 3 higher-end hotels. So the monorail stops at each of these hotels on the way to Magic Kingdom. So it's a lot more convenient to stay at these hotels, but obviously they're higher end, so they're more expensive. But this is what the mother-in-law wanted to do for her birthday. She didn't want to go to the parks or anything. She just wanted to stay at the hotel and like take the monorail to the other hotels and walk around and shop and stuff. So we're like, all right, well, we'll all go out there. We'll stay at the nice hotel. We'll go to a nice dinner. We'll go out to the park during the day and get some rides in, whatever. And it was a disaster, Jeff. We got there. We stayed at the Contemporary, which is known for being the one the monorail actually goes through like the middle of the hotel. It's pretty cool. And we got like an upgraded room where they have like a concierge and they have like a snack lounge that's open like most of the day and stuff. You can just go and get snacks and beer and wine and stuff, breakfast, whatever. We get there and we were supposed to be able to check in at 3. We weren't able to check in until like 5:30. So we're like, all right, whatever. They held our stuff in my in-laws' room, and we went and played at the arcade and walked around the hotel a little bit. Then we came back and we went to the wrong room because they changed our room and didn't tell us. So we had to go get all our stuff and pack it again and bring it to the new room. And the reason was that there was a water leak in the room we were assigned to. So we get to the new room. Finally, we go out to dinner, come back. We're exhausted. And then we wake up at 2 a.m. and the ceiling was leaking. It was just like dripping onto the carpet. And I have no idea why. We're not on the top floor, so it couldn't have been like rain or anything. I don't know if there was a leak in the sprinkler or something. So it's like dripping. We were so exhausted too. So we just put a towel down and you know, whatever. We went back to sleep. And then the next day told the concierge there. And I think my wife wasn't really like trying to complain about it. She was just like, there's water leaking out of the ceiling. Like, what do we do? You're gonna put us somewhere else? Or and they gave us some fast passes at Magic Kingdom, which was cool. So we didn't have to wait online at the rides. And then while we were at the park, the manager calls and said, there's too much damage to the room. We can't go back in there. So he asked, are you comfortable with us moving all your stuff? We're like, yeah, sure. If you want to go through and like take all our stuff out of the drawers, and we had food in the mini fridge and we had a cooler, and like it was a lot of stuff. Like, yeah, if you want to move all that stuff, go ahead. And you're like, yeah, we're gonna have to because there's too much damage in the room. We can't let you back in there. They're like, but to make it up to you, we're going to refund you for last night and we're going to upgrade you. So they put us in this ridiculous like penthouse suite, Jeff. It was like 2 bedrooms. It reminded me of The Hangover. Like when they when they get to that suite in Caesar's Palace, I was like, this is amazing. It had 4 balconies, and
Jeez.
they all overlooked Magic Kingdom. So we got back and we went into our new room. We were able to watch the fireworks like from the balcony. It was amazing. And then it was one of the coolest hotel rooms I've ever seen. And we didn't like cause a scene or anything. We're not big complainers. I think it just happened to work out. Like somebody canceled a reservation who was supposed to have this suite, and the manager felt bad that we kept bouncing around and we checked in late. And so he put us in this really awesome suite. Shout out to Todd, by the way, manager at the Contemporary Hotel. Took care of us. He put all the fast passes on our Disney account, like all loaded automatically. And I don't know how. He's like, I'm gonna sprinkle some magic on your fast pass. And I'm like, all right. But yeah, we wound up with this incredible room. And then the next night, my in-laws babysat for us, and the wife and I went to Epcot and had some drinks around the world, and then went back to the hotel. And I was able to actually watch the UFC on my laptop out on the balcony of the hotel. And it wound up being a really awesome weekend, because at first we were like, man, this sucks. Like we're finally splurging and staying at one of the nicer hotels, and it's just a disaster. But it wound up being like the coolest hotel experience ever. And that was that.
Bill, that's awesome. I'm glad Disney took care of you. I mean, it's probably good for their image that you're talking so positively about them on the show. In light of recent events in the state of Florida.
Yeah, yeah, they're getting a lot of bad press right now. There's a lot of political stuff going on with Disney, so I guess it's good to put some positive vibes out there. So big shout out to the team there, and all the people there were so nice. Like they all seemed like they felt bad, like we had to keep moving around and our room was leaking, but it really wasn't that big of a deal to us. We were just like, all right, well, are we gonna stay in here and like sleep in our bathing suits, or are we gonna go somewhere else? We didn't expect to be like treated that well, which made it like that much more of a surprise, because we weren't like really pressing the issue. We were just like, yeah, where are we gonna sleep tonight? And they really did take care of us, so it was awesome.
Yeah, and Bill, I think it's important to mention that Disney is in no way, shape, or form paying you to say all this. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
But Bill, sorry, go ahead.
They're not a sponsor. I can say that much.
Yeah, so Bill, but I think we got to give a shout out to Mark Fellows, our first viewer / listener from Vietnam.
Yeah. So Mark he's on vacation with his wife, and he's still tuning into the show. And they're probably sleeping in separate rooms because he's mad that she booked the flight during UFC 273. Mark, go easy on her. She wanted to plan a nice vacation for you, and then now you're on vacation with her and making her listen to us. But cheers all the way in Vietnam to the two of you. Hope you're having a great trip. Yeah. So Jeff, one other thing that caught my attention on this trip, And we had fun at the parks like always. Um, but I went to like the commissary in the hotel where they sell, like toothpaste and all stuff that like you might have forgotten. And I was surprised to find, Jeff, that they sell condoms there in the Disney Hotel general store, which I imagine they're not a hot seller because I got to think 90% of the people staying there are there because they don't use condoms.
Fair enough. That's a fair assessment. But Bill, you never know, man. I mean, um, me personally, when I meet the right person, I like to take them to Disney World, and then the kids, they can wait until they're older, Bill, to go to Disney
Mm.
World. I'm not in a big rush to take any kids to Disney World. I want to enjoy Disney World. I've never been. So if I go to Disney World or Disneyland, I want to enjoy it first as without having to be responsible for anybody else's welfare.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And I have been to Disney myself, um, pre-kid. It just like it and it was cool and everything. Like I had a good time, but um, it hits different when you go with a kid and you get to see them like experience all this stuff. Although I'm positive that we've overspoiled this child, and she's just like she's not gonna be impressed with like everyday things anymore. Like
Mm.
even when we got upgraded to this gigantic suite, I was like, "This is one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me." And she's just like playing with her toys. She's like, "Yeah, it's nice." It's like, and then like everywhere she goes in the hotel, there's like a concierge giving her stickers, and she's like, "This is what she thinks life is." Like she just goes places and gets free stuff and gets to stay in nice rooms. Um, I went to Disney World one time as a kid when I was 7 or 8. It was because my aunt was getting married in Florida, and we stayed in like an RV, like somewhere like not close to the parks, and it was awesome. Like I still have memories of that. Um, but my daughter's gonna be like, "Oh, Disney, yeah, I did that like every other weekend when I was 4." No big deal. Um,
Oh man.
Yeah, so it was cool. Another shout out again to the staff at the Contemporary for hooking us up and taking care of us. I can honestly say I don't think I've ever been treated like that while traveling. And I've traveled a lot of places, a lot of countries and been all over the place and haven't been met with that kind of hospitality. So that was really cool that they did that. Um And I was able to get back to the hotel last night just in time for the main card. I caught all of that, and then I went back this afternoon and watched a bunch of the prelims. But I think I may have missed a couple. But let's start at the top, Jeff. Of of an awesome card, I thought. If anything, for the Chimaev and Burns fight alone. But let's start with the champ. Volkanovski, one-sided beating of the Korean Zombie. Definitely didn't see it going down this way. You and I were both saying on the show last week that we thought, we didn't really see an area where the Korean Zombie could beat Volkanovski. But personally, I thought it was going to at least be competitive.
Yeah, man, Bill. Dude, like you said, Volkanovski. We kind of talked about this last week. There's really no area where Zombie would give Volkanovski problems. But Bill, after watching that fight, and I went back and rewatched this morning because I watched all of the prelims and one of the early prelim fights, and I was fading by the start of the main card, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like in and out, so I had to go back and watch all these fights because all of them were great on the main card, man. Like if you missed them, go back and watch them. I'm sure there are some websites, and you didn't hear this from me, that could potentially maybe offer provide what you're looking for, but
Yeah, it's ESPN Plus, Jeff. I think they still let you pay for the pay-per-view to watch the replay.
oh,
So
that's
it's no
right, that's
problem.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
No
yeah.
problem.
Right. So, Bill, dude, Volkanovski just looks so much faster than Zombie when it came to the boxing, and I was really surprised. I thought he would utilize the leg kicks a little bit more because he's just so great, and they're such a big part of his arsenal. But man, the hands were just so fast, man, and it
Mhm.
felt like Korean Zombie. He looked so slow in comparison to Volkanovski. And Bill, no disrespect to the Korean Zombie because I love him. He's a fan favorite, but Volkanovski made him look like he had no business being in the same cage as him.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And go ahead.
sorry to cut you off. Just one last thing that I wanted to add was I felt like the stoppage was good, man. I mean, Zombie was out on his feet, and he got dropped. He got dropped in every round. He went
Mhm.
down in every round, and in the third round specifically, he went down with a nasty 1-2, and then he went down again because of a nasty leg kick. And Bill, Korean Zombie's leg at the end of that fight was all red, man. Volkanovski, it looked like the main part of his game plan was the boxing. He had faster
Mhm.
hands, but he
Mhm.
never disregarded the leg kicks either. And man, Bill, Korean Zombie's leg looked like one of your bags of beef jerky before you set it out on the grill, man. That's what it looked like.
I did use Korean barbecue sauce in one of those last batches of jerky, so there's that. uh, yeah, I did not see it going this one sided, and Volkanovski is kind of an anomaly. 21 wins in a row. He's defended the title a bunch. He's looked great in a lot of fights, but the guy doesn't get the credit. Um, and I think it's largely due to the fact that people are bitter that he got that decision over Max Holloway in the last fight. And now it looks like Max Holloway is going to be next, so maybe there's a chance for redemption. But man, Volkanovski is a different fighter than he was the last time he fought Max Holloway. Like the dude just gets better um, every fight. I mean, he looked great in the Ortega fight. He looked better in this fight. And watching the guy fight against these longer, lankier featherweights, it's almost like an optical illusion that you're watching because he's so short and compact. The way he's able to land on these guys, like he's able to make himself longer than he is. I don't know if that makes sense, but um, just the way he has full extension on his punches, like he gets into spaces that it looks like he shouldn't be able to. Like he's defying the laws of physics when you watch him, and it's like almost, it's like awkward to see. Um, but that's just that's just part of his greatness. And yeah, there you have it. As far as what's next for Korean Zombie, I don't know. He's gonna need some time off, but um, if he wants to get back into the title picture anytime soon, he's going to have to take a top guy, maybe somebody like Arnold Allen.
Hmm.
Like one of these up and comers would be a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'd actually like to see him against maybe Josh Emmett, but dude, I don't know, man. Like you said, Volkanovski is looking scary, man. Um, he didn't really call out anybody, which I thought was a good decision. But Bill, and we've kind of agreed. It felt kind of like Max Holloway just edged out Volkanovski in the last two fights that they had. But I don't know, man. Going into if there is a trilogy fight, I it's kind of hard to bet against Volkanovski after that performance, man.
Yeah, like even if the decisions went to Max Holloway, both of them, and we saw these last two performances from Volkanovski, I might be leaning towards Volkanovski in a rematch with Max Holloway.
Yeah.
Um, so Mark says, "Are you trying to lose a viewer, Jeff?" Where's
Huh? What? Mark, what do you
where
mean? I'm saying
he
that I
was?
think Volkanovski would beat is gonna beat Holloway in the third fight.
I think because he's saying that you thought Holloway edged out the first two fights, but
Oh, that? Oh, I don't know. That's what I've heard people say, Mark.
So hard to stay PC here. Can't please everyone. Um, Speaking of not being able to please everyone, Aljamain Sterling pulling it off. And Jeff, we were talking about last week out of the three underdogs
You called it.
on the card, who had the best chance of pulling the upset. Remind me who I picked, Jeff.
You picked Aljo. And Bill, um, man, I was so impressed with Aljamain Sterling, man. Um, dude, rounds 2 and 3, the control. He made Peter Yan look like a white belt in there.
Mm.
Oh man, and maybe you could have called one of those 10-8. Um, the rounds 4 and 5, completely different fight. This is a story of two fights here. Round one, kind of up in the air. I kind of had it for Aljo, but I could see the judges giving it to Peter Yan. Split decision at the end. Bill, I think they need to have a trilogy. Forget
Mm.
TJ Dillashaw for now. All right. The first fight ended wrong. The second fight, split decision, and easily could have gone to Peter Yan. Um, depending on how you
I don't
saw,
know about easily. Like,
I don't know, Bill. Depending on how you saw round one,
yeah, I and it's tough because not a lot happened in round one.
yeah.
I did think Aljo got a 10-8 in round two. He beat the
Mm,
piss out of him. At the end of the fight, Aljo had like one little bump next to his eye. Jan definitely looked worse for wear at
yeah.
the end of the fight, despite coming on at the end and winning probably the last two rounds. Although I thought the fourth was kind of close too.
Mm,
But then Jan won the fifth. Uh, but by far the most dominant rounds were the second and the third, which is
yeah.
why the scoring system is kind of weird. Because if you're looking at the fight as a whole, Jan took far more damage. But you have to score it per round. Um, and I still think I still think it went the right way. And
Mm,
I didn't understand why people thought that Jan was going to just bulldoze Aljamain Sterling. Um, when Aljamain did well in the first fight and just got tired because he was wrestling too much. Um, and yeah, he was kind of beating up on him after he was gassed, but now he had the neck surgery and he was recovered from that. He looked like in much better shape, and he always looks in great shape, but he looked
yeah.
extra shredded for this fight. I just didn't see the justification for thinking that Jan was going to blow right through him. I knew it was going to be a competitive fight, but
Yeah.
I did believe that out of the three underdogs, Aljamain Sterling probably had the best chance of pulling the upset. And here we go. And still calls out TJ Dillashaw. I don't think they'll do the trilogy right away.
Mm,
I think the UFC and everyone else wants to get a break from these two fighting each other. So they're probably going to have to do other things. I would say make Peter Yan fight Merab because they had some, they had a little heat backstage. They almost got into it. Merab's up there now, and I think Merab mauls Peter Yan. Actually,
yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I think that wouldn't even be close. I think Merab does to Peter Yan what everyone expected Peter Yan to do to Aljamain Sterling.
Dude, Bill, and like I said, I knew that Aljo won because when I was last night, I was like, I still had the fights on. I just fell asleep, but I saw I saw the end of round 4 and round 5 last night,
Mhm.
and then they gave the decision to Aljo. So I'm like, dude, I got to go back and watch this whole fight. But Bill, we talked about this last week that this fight would be different. We said that Aljo would come in as a different fighter. And Bill, even knowing that Aljo won, as I watched the beginning of the fight, Aljo just looked so much more calm in there. He
Mm.
kind of freaked out in the first fight after he
Mhm.
gassed a little bit. But I don't know if it's because he came in as champion, something about the championship shorts, but he just looked much more confident in there. it was kind of like he knew what Petr Yan had for him, and he knew that it wouldn't be enough to beat him. But yeah, those second and third rounds, like you said, definitely. The time that Aljo controlled Petr Yan was definitely, it felt like he was more in control than when Petr Yan was controlling rounds 4 and 5. And if you look at the stats, I think Petr Yan had more significant strikes landed, but Aljo, I believe, had a little bit more control time. And I think that spoke volumes, man, because like you said, man, he was just, while he was on Jan's back, he was just hitting him like a sack of beef. And I love Ray Longo. He is like one of my favorite MMA coaches. At the
Yeah.
end of at the end of the second round, Aljo kind of goes like this, and he raises his arms as he's looking across at Petr Yan sitting on the stool, because Aljo, his corner didn't bring a stool out for him. He was just standing the whole time in between rounds. And Ray Longo goes, "Yeah, look at that motherfucker over there." Oh man.
My favorite part too, when Longo was like, "All right, you just embarrassed him, so now he's gonna come out guns blazing."
Dude, but he called it. That's what happened at the beginning of the fourth. He came out guns blazing, Petr Yan. And yeah, dude, I love Ray Longo. He has a way of just cutting through the nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Ray Longo is a good dude. I had the opportunity to meet him and go on his podcast when it still existed, and then he actually sat and talked with me for like an hour afterwards. We were just talking MMA and mutual contacts and stuff like that, and he's exactly who you would expect him to be. Like, what you see is what you get with Ray Longo. He's just a genuine dude, really nice, so he was like overly respectful to me. I was like, man, who the fuck am I? You're fucking Ray Longo. why are you being so nice to me? I'm in your gym. Like, he could have just like done the show with me and then ignored me afterwards. I would have been fine with that. But he actually took the time to sit and talk with me. So I'll always have a massive amount of respect for that guy. And part of me makes me want to root for his fighters, especially since one of them is my buddy, the Steamroller.
Yeah, for sure, man, dude. But yeah, just such a different fight from that first fight, and we talked about this last week, man. That Aljo would be a little bit more prepared. He fixed some things with that neck surgery, but man, if this had been a 3-round fight, I don't think you give Petr Yan another title shot for a while.
Yeah, I'd say so. Let's feed Sean O'Malley to Petr Yan. How about we do that? Mark says Chimaev versus Burns was a snoozer. We can skip that one. Man, this fight, Jeff.
Bill, do we have a fight of the year candidate?
Yeah.
Do we have a fight of the year winner with this one?
I think we might. This fight was ridiculous. I'm usually like pretty quiet, like watching the fights. Like I'll take everything in. Like every now and then I'll react to something. I was like jumping out of my seat. I was cheering. I was like, this fight had everything. It was so exciting. These guys beat the piss out of each other. It was super close. Burns was never like out of the fight, but he was never really like ahead. Rumor has it that
Bill, what you mean? Did you not see that second round?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I didn't think there was man.
Come on, Bill. That second round, I was starting to worry about Khamzat Chimaev here. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if he was ready for this after that. That's what I was thinking after that second round.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Burns had a great second round. That fight was wild, man. I need to watch that again. Not tonight, because then I won't be able to sleep. I feel like I need to enlarge this photo, because I don't want to be giving free advertisement space to whatever these ads are that are popping up here on SureDog. Yeah. This fight was just incredible. I mean, I I think, a lot of people had faith in Gilbert Burns, but I think secretly everybody expected Chimaev to just kind of blow him out of the water.
Mm.
And man, Gilbert Burns at 170 pounds is just a tough bastard. Um, and he kept throwing that same kind of check hook that he would counter almost everything with, and he was finding a home for it. He was landing on Chimaev, who's a lot taller and a lot longer than him. It's almost like the same optical illusion that we see with Volkanovski. It's like this guy's so stumpy, he shouldn't be landing any of these punches, but like he just gets such good extension on his punches and such good technique. Like when you think of Gilbert Burns, you think of like this phenomenal grappler who's, in Abu Dhabi and, world champion jiu-jitsu, all that. But he's got super clean striking, like very technical, and he's got a lot of power. Like he's a little powerhouse, man. But and a good thing I heard was that Dana White actually paid him his win money.
Oh,
In it,
nice.
yeah, in addition to them getting the fight of the night bonus. So that's awesome. You gotta love to hear stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the story has to be Chimaev and that the dude is a legit contender. This was a huge jump in competition. I mean, he fought Jingliang Li, who was ranked, I don't know, just outside of the top 10, maybe.
Yeah.
And then he jumps over all these guys and fights Gilbert Burns, who was number 2, who just fought for the title. And of course, Gilbert takes the fight, man, because he's such a competitor. All these guys were ducking Chimaev. Like, there's a reason he skipped the line, because they probably called everybody in that line. They're like, hey, look, we need a fight for this guy. And they're like, pass. But Chimaev, man, I mean, you look at the level of competition in welterweight, and obviously there's a huge discrepancy from the top and like the middle of the pack. We have like our established top. Obviously, we have Kamaru Usman, number 1 pound for pound on the planet, in my opinion. We've got Colby Covington as like the obvious number 2. And then we've got, Gilbert Burns. We've got Vicente Luque. We've got Bilal Muhammad, who are they're going to fight each other in a rematch next week. We'll talk about that later. But then, after you get out of that top 5, like it kind of drops off a little bit. And you got your Wonder Boys still hanging around in there, but big difference in competition. But he was still able to take out Gilbert Burns. And it makes you wonder, like, how would he look against Usman? Like, that's what I was thinking at the end of this fight. Like, I don't know what else there would be. A lot of people are calling for Colby Covington, and like, yeah, that could be cool. But, after this fight and, riding the wave from this war and showing that he could be tested and showing that he's got a chin, I'm cool with him going right in for the title, which, could very well happen if there's a boring main event next week. So give me your thoughts, Jeff.
Bill, I thought it was a great fight, man. And listen, that second round was all Gilbert Burns, dude. Some doubt started to creep in after that second round. I was like, I don't know if Chimaev can do this. All right, I don't, but Burns kind of gassed himself out a little bit, especially that flurry where Chimaev covered up and Burns is just all unloading on him, and using the uppercuts and getting past Chimaev's guard. But yeah, Bill, I think we can start to talk about a title shot here for Chimaev if things don't go well, versus it between Luque and Bilal Muhammad here. But Bill, I don't think it goes well for him against Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, Usman's got power. He's good everywhere. Can Chimaev go 5 rounds? That's an unknown. So maybe we need to see him in a main event before. And I guess Colby Covington would make the most sense. if you're going to throw him in a main event. I kind of don't see Colby taking that fight. I feel like he's just going in other directions. Like he's looking for the Poirier fight and he's looking for other kind of super fight things. Because I think he realizes, like, as long as Usman is the champ, he doesn't really have like a goal at welterweight, and he's too small to move up, and he's too big to move down. So he's kind of looking for these super fight kind of things, because what does it do for him even if he beats Chimaev? They're still not gonna put him in there with Usman for a third time. So why is he gonna fight this tough contender when he can go out and have a super fight for a lot of money? So that's why I feel like he's not gonna take it. Not to say he's afraid to fight him or anything, but that's just kind of what I see.
Yeah, it really does nothing for him,
Mm-hmm.
like you said. But yeah, dude, I mean, what a fight, man. I think that's fight of the year right there, dude. Um, it was so back and forth, and like you said, Burns, it never looked like I mean, except for the second round, but in rounds 1 and 3, didn't look like he was going to win. But like you said, he was never out of it.
Yeah.
He made Chimaev work for that nugget last
Mm-hmm.
night, man.
Yeah. And we saw that Chimaev could be battle tested. I mean, he was only hit like one time in his other 4 UFC fights. Got his uh fifth bonus in as many fights. Like that's kind of incredible, Jeff. The guy's had 5 fights in the UFC, 5 bonuses.
Yeah, but I say Usman drops him like a bad habit.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
I don't know, man. But Bill, this is so exciting, man. Like, I think the welterweight division needs this because, um, let's be honest, Usman's cleaning the place out, man. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah, we definitely need some parity. And it's gotten to the point where Usman's like, yeah, I might move up to 205 because he doesn't want to fight Adesanya. It's like, come on, man. No, you're not. But yeah, this is great. I mean, I think to me, like Vicente Luque has kind of been snubbed for the past like year and a half. Like the guy's been so solid, beating everybody, finishing guys, and it's like now you got to fight Bilal Muhammad again to get a title shot, maybe, because everybody's talking about Chimaev. Um, but we'll see. Mackenzie Dern split decision win over Tecia Torres. This was another fight where it's like the second round was clear for Mackenzie Dern, and 1 and 3 was like depends like what you saw, I guess. I think the decision went the right way. I think especially after the grappling exchanges in the second round, the way Mackenzie Dern was just chaining submissions together. Tecia was kind of tentative in that third round. But yeah, I thought I was okay with this decision. What do you think, Jeff?
I'll be honest with you, Bill. You got to give a lot of credit to Tisha Torres here. Able to get out of some really bad submission spots in that second round.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, she didn't win the round by any means, but she had a shark going after her and she survived.
Yeah.
So really, that's a huge feather in Tisha Torres' cap. And I felt like maybe she didn't win the first round, but I felt like she kind of stole the third round,
Yeah.
Tisha Torres, especially towards the end when she was throwing in some of those Taekwondo side kicks. But yeah, I felt like the decision definitely went the right way. But huge credit to Tisha Torres, man. She had a really, really tough competitor,
Mm-hmm.
and she was able to survive in that fighter's specialty, really. And she was kind of able to give the judges something to think about, especially at the end of that third round. Like you said, split decision. So I felt like it went the right way, but huge credit to Tisha Torres.
Yeah. The way she put her back against the cage to defend that Kimura was very resourceful, because what happens with the Kimura is you have to get it behind the back, which you can't put the arm behind the back if someone's up against the cage. So that was great, and yet and that thing was in tight, man.
Yeah,
If Mackenzie Dern was able to get her hips like just a few more inches to the right, like she would have taken that arm home with her.
yeah. Dude, I was so impressed when Torres got out of that. But yeah, like you said, using the cage to like give the arm a stopping point so that it can't keep going behind the back. That's you can't teach that, man. That's some good resourcefulness
Mhm.
and good thinking on her feet.
But the way Mackenzie Dern just kind of like jumped on her and started just like climbing on her body, like grabbing at limbs, like
Yeah,
that's something out of a horror movie, man. That's
yeah,
like,
dude. I mean, pulling guard is disgusting. It's definitely horrifying.
yeah, yeah, it is. But I'm okay with it
I'm
in
not
this
Bill.
case. In
I don't
this case,
appreciate jumping guard.
I'll let Mackenzie Dern get away with it. I'll give her a pass. um, Marco Madsen, unanimous decision over Vince Pichel. Um, this was like, Vince just didn't have an answer. I thought this fight would be a lot more competitive just because of Vince's experience and Mark's inexperience when it comes to MMA. But man, this dude's really putting it together. What do you think?
Bill, I'll be honest with you. I missed part of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Madsen won the first round. I felt like it won parts of the second round. But man, I felt like Vince Pichel could have won this fight. I
Mm,
felt like he got the third round. In the second round, I felt like he just had more output than Marco Madsen.
yeah.
He was able to stuff a couple of takedowns. Was able to take Madsen down in that second round. So I felt like Vince Pichel actually won this fight. It felt to me
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'll be honest with you.
Hmm.
And like I said, I missed part of the first round. Maybe I have to rewatch this fight again because it wasn't, super crazy interesting to me. Maybe I have to rewatch it. But I felt like Vince Pichel won. I don't know how Mark Madsen's still undefeated because I felt like he lost his last fight too, Bill. The UFC is protecting this guy. All right. And it sounds like you are too, Bill. You need to pick a side, man.
Don't you point your finger at me. It can't be the UFC. It's because the athletic commission is judging the fights. And I think if it were up to the UFC, Aljamain Sterling wouldn't have won in that co-main event. Because did you see Dana White's face when he read the scorecard? He looked like pretty pissed off. I
Oh
think he wanted to
man,
see Sterling lose there. I don't know.
dude, he
Maybe I'm
was
reading too into the
no,
memes that I've seen.
no. I agree with you, Bill, because he was standing behind Peter Yan with the belt.
Yeah.
When they were calling when Bruce Buffer was calling it, and then he had to like step over to to Aljo. It was kind of funny. I'm like, because you usually don't see that from Dana White, you know.
Yeah.
Um, well, actually, what am I saying? This is Dana White we're talking about, but yeah, it's just like he in his head thought Peter Yan won, and in my head that's why he was standing behind him on like that side.
I
Dude,
guess so.
it was pretty hilarious, man.
Hmm. So yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch that one, I guess. I might have been a little distracted. Onto the prelims. Ian Gary unanimous decision win over Darian Weeks. This was a pretty good fight. I was impressed with Gary and his ability to fight moving backwards. Like he was throwing strikes that you usually wouldn't be able to throw when you're backing up. Like he's throwing head kicks and he's throwing like rear front kicks to the face and he's landing like big power punches like while backpedaling, which is insanely impressive, especially for a guy that size. Um, had a bit of a slow start in that first round. I think Weeks won that round, but then he got rocked a bunch of times in the second and third. And Gary showing like he's going to be a problem at welterweight. I don't know how he's going to do against like more of a wrestler though,
Hmm.
because he was having a bit of a hard time getting out of like the clinch with Weeks when he was pinning him up against the fence, and he was defending the takedowns, but they were like stalling takedown attempts. He was not like chaining takedowns together, like a high level wrestler would, like a lot of the guys at the top of this division. So he's definitely going to have to work on those areas. Um, but he's got like a big personality. The UFC is like really behind this kid, so um, that hopefully they don't push him to, give him too much too soon. But I thought he looked good. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, yeah, he definitely gave Darian Weeks a lot to think about, and even when Weeks had Gary up against the cage and was making him back up, he was a little tentative. So yeah, good fight from both of these guys, and I agree with what you said. I think they need to keep Ian Gary away from the high level grapplers for now.
Mhm.
Looks like he might struggle with them.
Or give him one and let him deal with it.
I'm,
Uh,
I'm all for that idea too.
let's see. Um, yeah, we're at about 45 minutes here, so I'm just gonna go over the rest of the results here, Jeff, and you tell me what sticks out to you the most. Anthony Hernandez, unanimous decision over Josh Fremd. Raquel Pennington, unanimous decision over Aspen Ladd. Mike Malott, nasty TKO over Mickey Gall, just dropped him and knocked the soul out of him. Aleksei Oleinik with a nasty scarf hold neck crank. Um, I love Aleksei Oleinik, man. This dude, like he had his back taken. He was getting the piss beaten out of him. He's in there with his gray beard, and then he just reverses everything, uh, jumps on Jared's back, and then gets him in that scarf hold, and it's like that's just like a playground move. He's just like, come on, say uncle. It's like not a move that should really work in the UFC, but he
Yeah,
just he just finds a way to do that. Um, and the guy just must have like an incredible squeeze because it's just pain. It's uncomfortable. It's painful, and usually UFC fighters don't tap out the pain, um, but sometimes they do. Um, Pietro Rodriguez, unanimous decision over Kay Hansen. I imagine she's not going to have much time left in the UFC. Uh, Probably gonna have to go to OnlyFans full time. And then Julio Arce, um, unanimous decision over Daniel Santos. I didn't realize that these last two fights were at catchweights.
yeah, because a couple of those fighters missed the weight bill, which we do not tolerate on this show.
That's
All right.
right.
But Bill, if I have to pick just one fight out of all these, Alexei Olenek versus Jared Vendera. I mean, come on, dude. In the 3 minutes and 39 seconds, this fight had everything. All right.
Mm.
It had takedowns, had some stand up. Like you said, Vandera was all over Olenek at first, and then Olenek just reverses it. He's all over Vandera. Dude, I was like yelling in my house. I was just like, oh my gosh! Like, dude, so exciting. I mean, how do you not love Olenek? Like, I did not think he would win this fight when Vandera took his back. And then he somehow reverses it, gets on top, takes Vandera's back, and like you said, then he goes for that scarf hold, which you know it's uncomfortable, but like you said, he just have a nasty squeeze, man, for people to tap out to that because it's not really a submission hold. It's just
Yeah,
it's just a neck crank.
yeah. Um, it hurts, but the other thing is like you're at such an angle that it's kind of easy for the person on bottom to roll you, which is why my first jiu-jitsu coach, Stephen Williams, shout out to Stephen Williams, he used to say avoid that scarf hold position at all costs. He's like, because you're not going to get a submission there, and it's just easier. Somebody could take your back, or somebody could just roll you. It's not a good control position. um he would say unless you're also controlling the leg, so you would kind of have like the head and arm with one hand and the leg with the other, and you're just kind of using it for control time. um but yeah, man, Olenek just finds a way to make things work that kind of shouldn't. That Ezekiel choke that he's famous for that really only works in a gi. Um, and he's able to find it from positions that you're not even supposed to be able to get it from. So one of my favorite fighters, Alexei Olenek. And then I love when Rogan interviewed him. He's like, "How much longer do you think you're gonna go?" He's like, "Oh, not much, maybe 5 or 10 years." So that was great. Mike Malott was really impressive.
Yeah.
Um, like he just starched Mickey Gall. Um,
What's that put Mickey Gall at? Like 7-5?
yeah, not good.
Yeah, I think he's lost I think he's only won like one fight out of his last like 7.
Let's take a look. Yeah. So
Oh, one out of his last 4.
yeah, he's won 1 out of his last 4. He's won 2 out of his last 7.
Eh.
Yeah. And this is a guy who had so much momentum coming into this. I mean, he was brought in to fight CM Punk and
Bill, the
dismantled
CM
him.
stands for Chick Magnet.
Yeah, that's what I hear. And then he derailed Sage Northcutt. But then ever since that Randy Brown fight, it was just kind of like not good. Not good. Lost to Diego Sanchez, Mike Perry, Alex Morano, and now Mike Malott. But man, Mike Malott looks good, dude. He's got
Yeah.
power. He's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, this is giving the UFC a lot to think about.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind seeing Ian Gary versus Mike Malott.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good fight.
That sounds like a fun fight to me.
Yeah, I think somebody loses a nose in that one, or joins
Yeah.
the Arlovsky Nose of the Month Club.
Yeah, we haven't had one of those in a while.
Hey, the year is still young, so
That's true. I thought it was a great card overall. I mean, so it was Volkanovski got a performance of the night. Chimaev and Burns were fight of the night, obviously, and Oleinik got himself a bonus there too. So
yeah.
he'll be able to feed his 5 kids this month. Any kind of encompassing thoughts on UFC 273, Jeff?
Yeah, dude. I mean, we were excited for this one last week when we were talking about it. So, top to bottom, this card really, really delivered, man.
Mm-hmm.
What an awesome night of fights.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. All right, on to the next. So next weekend we got UFC on ESPN 34 back at the Apex, which seems like it's going to be a regular thing. We got a rematch in the main event between Vicente Luque and Bilal Muhammad. In their first fight, Luque knocked him out in like a minute something, I recall. I'll pull up Bilal Muhammad's record here. Yeah, so it was back in 2016.
Oh, that's a throwback. UFC 205. Wow.
Yeah, it was Conor McGregor was the main event against Eddie Alvarez. That's when he won the lightweight championship. Man, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was 6 years ago already, or November will be 6 years. So since then, Bilal Muhammad's just been on a tear, man. Even after the eye poke from
Leon Edwards.
Yeah, with Leon Edwards, he went on to beat Damian Maia and Wonder Boy. Like, how
Wow.
many people could say they beat them back to back?
Yeah. How many? Yeah. Damn. How many people can say they've beaten them in their career? Sheesh.
Not a lot.
Yeah. If only I could remember Bilal Muhammad's name.
That's good. But Luque, man, let me pull up Luque's record. This dude.
Yeah, Luque is a tough dude. He's been on a bit of a kill spree himself.
All right, so 4 in a row. I actually thought it was more than that. Then he had a loss to Stephen Thompson. But those 4, I mean, Nico Price, knockout. Randy Brown, knockout. Tyron Woodley, submission. Michael Chiesa, submission.
Yeah, that is quite the resume, man. Like one, that's a murderer's row in the welterweight division. Nico Price, Randy Brown was a really tough dude. He's out of Henzo Gracie, New York, Bill. Tyron Woodley, Michael Chiesa, and like finished all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Luque definitely doesn't get enough credit, but it's good to see him at least in a main event. Man, it's this is a tough one for Bilal Muhammad, I think.
Yeah.
Even though he's been on a streak, like he's getting in there with a guy who blasted him out of there in like a minute and 20 seconds the first time they fought. So, yeah, I don't know. It's rough. It's hard to favor Muhammad here. What are your thoughts on this main event, though?
Bill, I gotta agree with you, man. Bilal Muhammad, he's a tough dude. He's very well rounded. But like you said, man, Vicente Luque knocked him into 6 years into the future, man.
Yeah, now they're fighting again.
Yeah, I think that's all Bilal Muhammad remembers is that knockout, and now he's here.
He also remembers his name.
Good, because I don't. But I'm sorry, man. That's one of the worst fighter nicknames, man. But dude, it's like you said, both of these guys have been on a tear. But man, it's really tough to see this one for Bilal Muhammad, man. I think Vicente Luque might just have his number, dude.
Could be. We'll have to find out. And Luque is dangerous everywhere, man.
Yeah.
All right. So the co-main event, I'm not familiar with.
There's no way this is the co-main event, dude.
I mean, it looks like it is. Chow, Bralo, and Gadzi Omar Gadziev, I want to say. You think I got those pretty close?
Hey, they're better than how I was going to pronounce them.
How are you going to pronounce them?
I don't know, but not like that.
I'm more interested in Andre Fiallo and Miguel Baeza. That's a fun fight.
Yeah, that would be a good co-main event.
I'm not familiar with these other guys, but 10-1 against 13-0. I mean, this guy just has a scary name, Gadzi Omar Gadziev.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody who's not to be trifled with.
Yeah, when you have these Russian guys who like part of their last name sounds like similar to part of their first name, like those guys are always dangerous.
Yeah.
You got like Magomedov. Like, no, I don't want to fight that guy. Fuck that. His first and last names are too similar. I'm not fighting him. Okay, so this guy 13-0, pretty much all finishes. So he won by knee bar in the first round on the Contender Series. That was back in October. Yeah, his wins are pretty much all finishes.
Yeah, he's only got, it looks like only 2 decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a scary dude, man.
Yeah, look at him. His picture's in black and white. Like wherever he lives, they don't even have color photographs yet.
Yeah, lighting's pretty bad on that one.
So
this may have been taken on the set of a horror movie. That's what it looks like, Bill.
Yeah, keep Godzi away from me. I don't want to fight that guy. Then we got Myra Bueno Silva against Yanan Wu, Pat Sabatini against TJ Laramie, Elizu Zaleski dos Santos, and Munir Lazez. Actually, that's the fight I'm most looking forward to on this card. That's gonna be a really good one. Oh, and then Devin Clark and William Knight.
Oh, that'll be good.
At heavyweight. Oh shit, William Knight moved up to heavyweight.
Dude, he's a small light heavyweight. What is he doing?
Yeah, but he's thick as fuck, bro.
Yeah, that's fair. But he's gonna be a foot shorter than everybody.
Here's our buddy Bruce chiming in. Bill, you don't want to fight anyone in the UFC, including the women's divisions, because they would all absolutely murder you. You might be right, Bruce. You might be right. I shaved my beard that was covering up my weak chin, though. The atomweight women would knock out cold. Would knock out cold, Bill. All right, Bruce, I want whatever you're drinking. I'm just going. I'll go on record here. There's no atom weights that are knocking me out. That's not happening. And there aren't even atom weights in the UFC. So what are we even arguing about here, Bruce? It's not even a division that exists. All right. Lena Landsberg and Pani Khamzat, Drakkar Klose and Brandon Jenkins.
That sounds like a good fight,
Papa
too.
Garcia and Jesse Ronson. Oh, Chris Barnett is back finally. I'm excited. So why are they burying this guy on the prelims? He's so entertaining. This is the guy that did that front flip into like that split, the big chunky heavyweight. You remember this, Jeff?
I remember that. I can't remember the fight, though.
He won with a spinning wheel kick, Jeff. Huggy Bear. This guy.
Okay.
He knocked out Jean Vellante with a spinning wheel kick. That was back in November. Oh, I'm excited. This guy's back.
Oh, yeah. That it's gonna be a fun card for sure.
Where am I here? I'm all discombobulated here. All right, here we go. And then Jordan Levitt versus Trey Ogden. That'll be fun. Jordan Levitt is entertaining. He's coming off his first loss, I believe. Estela Nunez and Sam Hughes. And then we got Hailey Alatang and Kevin Kroom. What's jumping out to you here, Jeff?
Bill, really like Devin Clark versus William Knight. Not so sure about how I feel about William Knight going up to heavyweight because he's already a foot shorter than everybody in the light heavyweight division. And I really like Drakkar Klose versus Brandon Jenkins.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. I'm excited for the Santos and Lazez. This is a sneaky good card, Jeff. Baeza and Fiallo. And in the main event, like, how do you not love this fight? Like, if it doesn't go like the first fight went, like that, and it's, you know, if we get 5 rounds of these two, we could actually get like a really great fight here.
Yeah, for sure.
Our friend Jeff Bogman wants to know, Jeff, if you've learned how to pronounce Jacare yet.
No, I'm still saying it Jacare. It doesn't matter. I think he's retired, isn't he?
I don't know. Maybe. Bruce says the strawweight women would kill you, Bill. He's very enthusiastic tonight. Bruce has been coming after me hard lately.
Yeah, Bill, what'd you do to the poor guy?
I don't know. I must have pissed him off in a previous life or something.
Did you piss in his cornflakes, Bill? Is that what happened?
I think I bought the last pack of condoms at the Disney hotel and he wanted them.
Bill, I feel like at some point you may have given this guy a Chicago sunroof. Is that what happened, Bill? Do you know what a Chicago sunroof is?
I'm afraid to ask.
All right, Bill, if you're not going to ask, I'm not going to tell you.
All right, I'll ask. What's a Chicago sunroof, Jeff?
Bill, it's when someone leaves their car unattended with the sunroof open. Okay? So you climb up on there, drop your pants, and drop the kids off at the pool, except in the car. You defecate on the inside of the car through the sunroof.
Oh, it's called all over Bruce's leather interior.
Yeah, which is probably all white in his Nissan or his Jag, whatever he's driving.
He's probably driving like a nice Cadillac Escalade. Those have sunroofs?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, Bill, that is a Chicago sunroof.
I might have done that. Sorry, Bruce. I didn't mean shit in your vehicle. Let's see. What were we talking about? So UFC next weekend, Vicente Luque, Bilal Muhammad. Here's the prediction I want, Jeff. Not who's gonna win, but if Luque wins the fight, does he get a title shot against the winner of Edwards and Usman? And same question for Bilal Muhammad.
I think they have to win. Hold on. Oh man, Coach Bill just chimed in. Say, why did I choose now to watch live? But
just
Coach,
lucky, I guess.
Yeah, Coach. At least now you know what a Chicago sunroof is. So Hopefully, I've
Why do
enlightened.
people have sunroofs in Chicago? It's like 30 degrees or lower, like 12 months out of the year.
I don't make the rules, Bill.
All right. Well, they got some freaky people in Chicago.
But Bill, I think that whoever wins, if they want a shot at the title next, I think they have to do something either entertaining or devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Because Chimaev, listen, he got everybody's motor running last night, man.
Including Dana White's, which is the most important motor to get running.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But Bill, is Usman really fighting Leon Edwards for in the next?
Yeah, I believe that's.
My question is how and why.
Why not?
Who
What
did
do you
Leon
mean? How?
Edwards? Who did Leon Edwards beat to get a title shot?
Yeah, it looks like they're targeting July UFC 276. They're gonna headline that.
Oh, sounds lame.
Yeah. So, yeah, Dana White confirms. I don't know. I guess it's not official yet, but they could build that up because it's a rematch, so they've got some heat. Although Leon Edwards didn't gain any fans when he got the shit slapped out of him by Nate Diaz in that fight, because that's all anybody remembers. They don't remember 4.5 rounds of Leon Edwards beating the shit out of Nate Diaz. They just remember him slapping him unconscious almost. So yeah, I agree. I think there's gonna have to be something fantastic done. Like it's gonna have to be like a spectacular knockout or like an obscure submission or something. And one step further, I think if that happens for Luque, he may get the winner of Edwards and Usman. I don't think I can say the same for Bilal Muhammad. I don't think he'll get the title shot. So Bilal Muhammad's quickest route to a title would be to win in emphatic fashion on Saturday and then call out Khamzat Chimaev. Because you're going to have to wait until probably December to fight for the title anyway. If Usman and Edwards aren't fighting until July, then whoever wins that, they're going to take some time off. You're probably looking at December before you can fight for the title.
Yeah,
So
that's if he's lucky.
And I feel like Chimaev's not going to wait around that long, so he's probably going to take another fight. So, the winner of this might have to end up fighting Chimaev in July, maybe on that same card. That would be smart too. That way, if somebody gets hurt in the main event, you can step in. Although I don't think it'd be smart to fight Chimaev at any point. So,
Nope.
But I'm looking forward to Huggy Bear coming back next week. That's going to be a good time.
Yeah, this card is going to be a lot of fun. Do we know what start time? Is it going to be on like a little earlier?
I don't know. It's in Vegas, so it's probably like normal time. All right. Anything else you want to get off your chest here, Jeff?
I got nothing for you, Bill. Oh, but Bill, I'm not going to be available for the show next Sunday. I'm going to Puerto Rico on Thursday. So.
Oh, that's right. Where are you going? Rincon?
I don't know, some hell on earth that you would call paradise. I don't know.
That I would call paradise?
Yeah, it'll probably be nice to most people. I don't know. I'll probably hate it.
Say hi to Angela Magano when you see her.
Yeah, I'll see how she's doing.
Pop into her gym down there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Maybe she'll knock me out, Bill. I don't know. Maybe she'd kill me. I don't know.
Well, according to Bruce, she would knock me out. Cause she's what, a strawweight?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't think she even fights anymore. Yeah. So that's that. Well, Jeff, have a great trip. Take a lot of pictures, or don't take pictures of you like shitting in anybody's car or anything.
It's called a Chicago sunroof, Bill. And listen, if it happens, I have no control over that. Okay?
I feel like that's frowned upon in most places.
Yeah, but they're more
Except like Staten Island. Like in Staten Island, if you leave your sunroof open, it's
you're
kind of
asking for
expected.
it. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
asking for it.
like you leave it open so people do that. Um, let's see. Mark says I gotta go sample Vietnam's best beer. Take it easy. Well, you have a great trip too, Mark. It's nice that we're
Enjoy
all
Nam.
traveling together. Jeff Bogman says, I hope Puerto Rico is as nice as the Disney penthouse. Yeah, maybe it will be.
Yep. I mean, I doubt it, man. Disney's awesome.
Yeah, we gotta go, Jeff. Next time you're down here, we'll bring you to the most magical place on earth. That's it. So have a great trip, Jeff. Enjoy your trip, Mark. Um, Jeff, I know you're going to Costa Rica soon. The other Jeff. So you enjoy that, and everybody have a happy Easter. I don't know if I'm gonna do a show on Easter Sunday or not. Kind of depends how the day goes. But happy Easter to everyone who celebrates, and hope you enjoy some time off. If you get the long weekend with Good Friday and all that. I know my daughter's off from school, so we're gonna have to work that out. Oh, merchandise. I always forget. I should do this at the beginning of the show. But if you guys want to grab some over the top under the influence gear, you can get it from our friends at Team Reaper. The website is reaper1.co. Don't put the M in there. Promo code is MMA Rocks 10. That'll save you 10% on your entire order, whether you're buying our t-shirts, hoodies, and tank tops or not. You can get anything you want. Some training gear, some gloves. The promo code will work. So that's that. And I just closed this and I don't know how to open it again. So we're going to call it a show. That's all we got for this week. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we appreciate the shares, the comments, the criticism, the roasting. As you can tell, I do enjoy it. I've got a thick skin. So bring it on. Tell me I'll get knocked out by all the straw weights. I love it. Until next time. Cheers, everybody. Bye.